The views and opinions expressed at the visa section are solely those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily represent the official views or positions of the company. All content provided by the hosts and guests reflects their personal opinions and is not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.
Good day and welcome to the Visa section, one of the newest podcasts on Enhanced Down Under. I am Anna, a qualified education agent counselor. Joining us today is Keiru Angelo Montesclaros, who is a former international student from the Philippines and has recently completed his nursing course at Charles Darwin University. So, welcome Keiru.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this opportunity.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
Still nervous?
A tiny bit. But it's not
right.
I'm into nursing, so I should not be nervous.
Right, exactly. Yes, as mentioned earlier, Keiru is a nursing graduate. So you just obtained your degree last November 2024, is that correct?
Yeah, November 15th.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with your journey as an international student. When did you arrive in Darwin?
I actually arrived on the 21st of December, 2021.
2021.
The first flight after COVID.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So as soon as the borders
opened,
you grabbed the opportunity.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I actually didn't know I was coming here. I learned about it 2 weeks before my flight, and they've already booked my flight. My grandma booked my flight already.
Okay, so what was your expectation then?
Because we've already been planning for the application, but because of COVID, we're not sure when it's happening.
Right.
And then when
a lot of uncertainties then.
A lot of uncertainties. But when I got approved, they immediately booked it without my knowledge. But it was okay. I just didn't have enough time to prepare mentally.
Right. So why Darwin? Do you have relatives that are already based in Darwin prior to your enrollment?
Yeah, there are a couple, actually 2 grandmas and 2 aunts. I've got relatives here and then down south as well. Darwin, probably because it has a multicultural environment, and also a tropical season as well.
Like the Philippines.
Yeah, like the Philippines, dry and wet season. So I don't have to acclimatize that much. Yeah, and also the daylight.
The time difference is not much, right? It's just an hour and a half.
An hour and a half, yeah. And it has really good sceneries, beaches, and natural landscapes like Middle Beach. I love
Middle Beach. Yes.
Middle Beach.
So you arrived December 2021 with whom?
Just by myself. It was my first flight just by myself.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really life-changing.
And then eventually, who followed you here?
It was 8 months after me. My brother followed right after. But yeah, just me first for the first 8 months, trying to adapt and adjust, I guess.
So your course is nursing, right? So have you always been inclined to healthcare industry or?
That was my, yes, to answer your question, yes.
Really?
But my first goal is to actually become a doctor, to follow the pathway of my other grandma who lives now in Canada. She used to be a doctor, and she gave me this a set of doctor kit when I was a kid, and that actually motivated and inspired me throughout my whole life. But I did one course of college course in the Philippines. But yeah, I didn't really plan to go to Australia during that time because of, you're in the Philippines, you've got your friends and families and everything.
Migration is a huge decision.
Yes, it's a life-changing for me, but I'm not regretting I went here. It was a good decision.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, nursing student, Charles Darwin University. So, how's your experience as a nursing student at Charles Darwin University?
It was a difficult but rewarding experience. I didn't know, I was expecting a different college life. I thought it would be more lively. But I guess the difference is in the Philippines, you get support, but mainly from your classmates.
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
All right.
But here, you get support from the whole city. So you get if you are in trouble, if you need some mental health space, you can let your teacher know, and they would just be okay with it because they're aware that some people just need a mental health space for you to recuperate from academic pressures and stuff. And also they're very, very supportive in terms of providing resources and not letting the students down. So if you are ever behind, they will email you with some guidance or some sort of programs for you to
cope or catch up.
Yeah, to cope up. Yeah, because I've got a friend who used to fail, but he received some guidance. So they're very supportive in that type of way, and yeah, they don't let their students down. So it's a different kind of environment because usually you would not expect that kind. Well, it depends on what school you are in the Philippines, but you don't expect the kind of support where they're really pushing you up. Yeah, and they have really good facilities as well. I used to go to the library. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's the difference. I think it depends on the country because here in Australia, mental health care is very important.
Yeah,
so universities and colleges like Charles Darwin, they are well equipped to handle mental health issues or concerns of their students because they know that they have a lot of international students who are having a difficult time adjusting to the new environment. That's why they make sure that their institution is well equipped in supporting their students, and I'm happy to hear that. You know, so how is it? Did you experience any hard time adjusting or?
In the first few months, I was adjusting to the environment. I didn't really feel much of the emotional sentiments back home.
No, right.
But when I started working and studying, that's when I felt like it's just really a good decision for me.
And that was during your first year?
During my first year, maybe like 4 months after I came here and adjusted to the environment. Because I got my first job like after 4 months. And yeah, so it was a bit challenging.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that the difference, some of the differences for being a nursing student in the Philippines and a nursing student here in Australia. Can you cite one of those, or at least some of those differences that you mentioned?
The main difference that I could think of is the academic pressures. Although I mentioned a while ago that you need some break. I mean, they will provide you with some break for academic pressures.
Right.
But in the Philippines, you don't get to sleep, and you study 6 out of 7 days. Here in Australia, they will in Darwin, I'm not sure in other states, but in CDU, we only study like maybe 3 days in a week, and most of them are self-study, and the rest of the time that is allotted for self-studying. It's mainly the only thing that I could say about CDU is it's more about essays and practical assessments. So if you have the willingness to learn and the patience, the diligence, you will make it. It's not as hard in the Philippines. I'm not being
as compared to the Philippines.
Yeah,
like in the Philippines, like you come to the university 6 times a week, 5 to 6 times a week.
Yeah.
Here in Charles Darwin, 3 times.
3 to 4 times,
3 to
depending
4
on how
times,
many courses you've got.
Uh-huh.
But I've got 4 units, so I just come here 3 days in a week, two units in a day.
And is that in a classroom setup?
Unfortunately, during the first 2 years, it was still post-pandemic. So they were still trying to lay low. So we just did online. But after that, we did on class-based. So
was it more difficult, because for someone who's studying nursing, is it more difficult to do online study rather than face-to-face?
I've got my preference. So I actually prefer to do face-to-face because it's nursing. You should, if you've got question, it's easier to ask face-to-face than online. And especially, even though we're a first world country, there are still some minor issues with the internet, with the network. So not everyone can have the privilege to continuously listen and stuff.
Yep, strong internet connection. Yeah, those are some of the challenges.
So I do prefer, and I actually advise going face to face. It's much more conducive for learning, and you will feel belonged in a safe environment as well. But City is transitioning back again to face-to-face classes.
Yep.
From what I've heard before I graduated.
Yeah, that's what I also heard. It's very good. They are very flexible.
Yes.
They combine face-to-face and online classes, and I think our students are being given the leeway to choose.
Yes.
Just like what you mentioned earlier, and that's good. So, tell us more. With Charles Darwin, you are also given this chance to do clinical placement. Is that correct?
Yes. So with nursing, we got to have around 900 hours of clinical placement. For the first year, you get to do one, and then for the rest of the year, you have to do 2 each. So there's a total of 5 placements. It's all in different genres, just so you have a wide variety of experience dealing with stuff, and just so you can know what type of nursing you're gonna do.
Do you find your own placement, or do they assign it to you?
Usually they will assign it to you. However, there's not a lot of clinical or like hospitals here. So
yes.
There's a portal on the CDU platform that you can access, and then you can see which placements are available. The only thing is, if you want to do it out of state or like in different areas, they will not provide accommodation. So you have to fix your accommodation.
What are the other areas available? Are those outside Darwin already?
Yes. So they're
farther area.
Yep. So there's Catherine, Nolan Boyd Grove, Melbourne, other states. I actually one of my placement, I went to Melbourne just for the placement, because I didn't want to get behind. You can get behind because I'm set on my goal. I want to finish in the 3 years time, so I didn't want to get behind. I went to Melbourne. Luckily, I've got family there as well, so I got a free accommodation. So yeah, it was a fun experience doing clinical placements. Most of them are supportive. You just have to find your way, and making this card.
Good.
From portraits to event coverage, DKJ Photo Studio offers exceptional photography services tailored to your needs. Book your session today and experience the difference with DKJ Studio. Visit us at 590 Mitchell Street, Darwin, NT.
All right. So you mentioned earlier that you are also given an option to do clinical placements in other cities.
Yep.
And you
correct.
considered where?
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
Okay. How was it? Did you push through with it, or you just opted to
I
stay
did.
in Darwin?
I went there and did a 2-week placement just so I can finish it. It was a bit.
Was it a private hospital or?
It was a private hospital. It was a different experience because again I have to travel and I have to do it by myself. Nursing here is very experience based, so yeah.
So for clinical placements, are you being paid, or it's
no,
is
we
it
don't
paid,
get
or it's
paid.
just like a in the Philippines on the job training, something like that? You just get the experience without the pay.
Yes.
Right? But as an international student, you are also allowed to work, right? Up to 24 hours. Were you able to work? You mentioned 4 months after you arrived?
Yeah, I've been working ever since.
Okay.
Ever since that 4 months I arrived here. So even though I've got placements, I'm lucky that my manager at work provided me with some roster shifts, even though they're only like 2 hours.
Okay.
I still attend them. It was tiring, exhausting, but when you decide to migrate, you need to work up for it. So you do need to have some endurance and courage to do the things that you won't expect to do. And you just have to believe in yourself. And if you need help, you should ask for help, because it's not easy living here. I'm lucky. I've got families that can provide support in other financial stuff, but some other are not that lucky.
May not be as lucky as you have your family here with you have your support system.
Yeah, but it's still difficult because I still have to pay for my tuition fee. So,
and the tuition fees in Charles Darwin and in other universities or colleges are no joke.
Yep.
Especially for an international student, if I'm not mistaken, you get to pay 3 times higher than local students.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm not gonna mention.
Tell them. Let's give some background of. Tell our viewers how's your life as an international student. Not that you're juggling work and study.
So, well, again, it depends. Some people can manage both social work and personal and academic life.
Are you able to socialize still?
I do, but I give it some time. I don't. Socializing is my least priority. My first priority is academics, work, family, and then socialize.
All right.
Because that's the goal of the whole family anyway, just for me to finish. So yeah. My first priority is academics. So if there are deadlines that I have to do, I prioritize that. My family understands anyway. So if we have some gatherings or occasions that we have to attend to, if I have some deadlines that I have to make, it's okay. They will leave me at home and do them. It's really hard to juggle everything, especially if you compare with college students in the Philippines. They will mostly be just focused on studying and not working. So it's a very different experience here. But I think with work, it will actually help in your career, because you're going to know how the work-life balance.
All right.
You'll get a preview of what's it going to be after you graduate, and also you can determine how you're going to survive in those kind of environments. It also helped me in some learning curves, because I work in a reception in the clinic, so it's kind of related to my nursing career. I learned some stuff that otherwise I would not have learned in nursing, like de-escalating patient concerns and issues, problems, and those kind of stuff. So, and I also learned some academic stuff as well. The doctors were very kind to give me some time to take a peek on what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, your academic life in Charles Darwin, how is the campus life there? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I'm actually disappointed that because the first year was like post-pandemic.
All right.
So we didn't have enough events that are inside the campus. It's mostly online. So during the second year,
although you are already in Darwin, most of the activities are being done online.
Yeah, we're online. So that's why I'm a bit disappointed, because I like activities where you get to meet people and stuff. Yeah, but anyhow, they really have these amazing events that will really be an icebreaker for everyone. So they will connect everyone in every instance of life, different races, different nationalities. Right. Yeah, it's very fun. I had this one, what do you call this? A run event organized by CTU.
Run event?
Yeah, it's like fundraiser kind of
fundraise, but something like that.
Something
like you run.
Yep, we did run. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was fun because you'll get you'll socialize and you'll meet some new friends and stuff. But that was my last one, because every time they have an event, I have work.
Oh, okay. It always coincides with your work. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. But they really, their programs are always great. They have a good lineup of events throughout the year, which is also conforming to the season as well. So it depends. They've got academic events, sports events, media events, and also refresher programs for students as well. So I can't really say anything further than that. But
so most of their students actually would be able to relate with the activities that they have lined up.
Yes,
okay.
yes. With their events, they try to cater to everyone.
That's perfect.
They're not. They're not exclusive.
Well, actually, we had our event April 2024 with the Chamber of Commerce, and students from Charles Darwin University, they attended it. And we received a huge support from Charles Darwin, from your student coordinator, Tasfia, and we had a number of Charles Darwin University CDU students who attended the event. That was a very good exposure to them because they met, potential employers.
Yeah, very
and
good one.
Charles Darwin has CDU. They have this way to connect their students to potential employers, or to practical activities such as conferences or symposiums.
Yeah.
And I believe CDU has a lot of campuses, right?
Yeah, they do.
And they have this, just 10 minutes away on foot here. I think it's in front of Woolies. It's a grocery store.
Yeah.
So they just recently built that campus. Charles Darwin, I really admire that school, and having you here, relating your stories. Keiru is the first student from CDU that, we are able to invite as a guest, because most of their students, even their coordinators, they're very busy always.
Yeah.
So,
mostly busy.
What's next? You also mentioned the advantages of being a nursing student here as compared to like you are from other countries, right?
Yeah. I would say nursing here is very, I don't know if cohesive is the word, but it has a very smooth flow with how they handle things. So if you start as a nursing student, they will connect you to different networks.
Right.
Networks in terms of like nurses, managers, and especially with the placements, you'll have some friends that are already in nursing that will eventually help you when you get to be a nurse. And the advantages, I think, is it's mostly based on practical learning. You don't have to strain your brain to do the stuff. As long as you're willing to learn, as long as you're doing your job, and as long as you're not picky and you get along with them, you'll manage here. It's very, very manageable. Aside from the academic pressures, it's not that much straining. But the big advantage is network. So if you graduate, you don't have to worry about having no job. Right after you graduate,
that's the thing.
2-3 months you'll get a job. As long as you finish your documentations, as long as you've done everything without fail, with the documentations, you'll get it. Maybe the only struggle of nursing here is you've got a yearly quiz.
Yearly quiz, all right?
It's a medication calculation quiz that you have to get a perfect score. But you can reconsider for an appeal if you do have a mistake. But
perfect score, like you mentioned, it's just like an item from 1 to 10, right?
Yeah.
10 item quiz, or
unless it changes. But it's a 10 item quiz. But it's difficult.
Oh.
Yep, it will test your knowledge. It's difficult in a way that it's a common sense, because people will be thinking of more academically, but they will not think of what's actually happening inside the nursing.
From someone who is in medical field, common sense is very important.
Yep, it's very important, and you have to master the basic skills. If you don't have the basic skills, you will already fail. So
if you fail, at least you get one mistake. You are given the chance to appeal.
Yep, you're given a chance to appeal, but it will also depend on how you write your email. Wow. Because on the email as well, they will know if you are actually willing to do another quiz or just doing it just to pass. Because they want students who actually want who are passionate in what they're doing. Yeah, I've just got an experience. My colleague who failed tried to apply for reconsideration. He wasn't not given. And I forgot, I actually failed one of them just this year as well. The last one.
How did it go?
I got reconsidered and then I got a perfect score. But you just have to explain it very clearly why you got it wrong.
What happened?
What happened? What's the reasoning behind it? And that's it. It's very, as long as you just have the proper, I think, professionalism and the term motivation, you'll just manage here.
Whether you're hosting a special event in our function hall, holding meetings or workshops in our multi-purpose room, bringing your ideas in our shared workspace, or capturing memories in our professional photo studio, we have it all in one place. We'll help turn your vision into reality. Contact us for details, or visit us at 590 Mitchell Street, Darwin NT. DKJ Studio, your hub for creativity and events.
All right, so for international students, it is very important that you determine or you set your priorities. That's what Keiru did here.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that for international students like you, for a nursing graduate like you, it's more on practical learning.
Yeah.
It's not as tasking like academically.
No. Not as much as the first year. But yeah, it's mostly based on practical learning. We don't. But sorry, I forgot to mention earlier. For the practical learnings, there are assessments. It's a paper assessment that you'll have to accomplish each time you finish the placement. It's kind of like a reflection from yourself and the comments from your preceptors. Right. So they will also grade you on how you did on your practical placements. Yeah. But with that, you don't have to do board exams, because that's already that's already
because they have already assessed you.
Yeah, that's already the assessment. That's the skill assessment. APRA will review it. APRA, which is
APRA, yes,
Australian
it's a regulating Australia's health practitioners.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they will review it. If you pass, well, I mean, before they receive it, the CDU will review it and then they will pass it.
All right.
And as long as you pass and you've got really good comments,
you'll
be good to go nursing. So it's not as much. Yeah. So that's why it's not as taxing as.
So it's since you have finished your degree in November of last year, right? Yeah. So unlike in other countries, once they graduated, they start preparing for the board exam.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, you don't have to, because the assessments would be like your board exam, right? And if you pass that, you will be recognized by APRA, which is the regulating Australia's health practitioners.
Yeah.
So people, I know, of course, sending your kids to Australia as international student, it's not cheap, but if you have the budget, try to become consider taking up nursing here. Because even if you are already an experienced nurse back in the Philippines or any other countries, once you come here, you will still have to undergo a lot of accreditation process.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, you won't be considered as a nurse here. There's a lot of process involved and very costly. So with Keiru here, he's done his studies in November. Now, there's no more reviews. And what are your plans after graduating?
My first plan is to be a graduate nurse. I've actually got my allocation this next week.
Allocation meaning like a job offer?
Yep, a job offer. So I've already accepted it. I've already contracted by Royal Darwin Hospital to start working for them for a year. For a grad nursing is like a supernumerary year where you get to be a nurse, but you're still supervised low-key.
All right.
So it's not, you get to do it by yourself, but if you've got concerns and if you
have a supervisor that you can...
you've got someone to help you, support you as well. And then afterwards, I'll become a an official registered nurse.
How long? How long would that take?
It will only just take 1 year
Oh,
for the grad nursing.
right.
It's an option for you if you want to go direct to official registered nursing or do grad nursing, but it's highly, highly recommended. I highly recommend it to do a grad nursing because
Grad nursing.
yeah, because it's with studying here in Australia, you need to get along with different people with a diverse
Yes,
population.
yes.
So you have to know what or like how you will work around them. So that's why it's super important to have a supernumerary year. And then my next plan is to probably become a travel nurse because I want to travel because all my life I've been studying. So
What is a travel nurse?
travel nursing is since Australia has still deprivation of nurses, like some insufficient staffing.
Insufficient staffing. That's the key word. We will
Yeah.
discuss that later.
So there are different states that offer some job opportunities for nurses, and for traveling nurses, just to cover for an instance of time. So travel nurses cover
So like you're transient
somewhat.
somehow.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So you get some people.
It's exciting.
It is exciting and also pays a lot.
Wow.
Yeah,
You go for it.
Yeah, I'll probably go for it. It's only recommended for people who are single though.
You know, okay, Keiru here has a lot of plans after
Yeah.
graduation, but remember, to be able to do those plans, there is a visa requirement, of course. Right? So what visa are you going to apply?
I'm going to apply for a 485 visa, and
All right.
thankfully with Skills Enhanced, they're going hopefully going to apply for my visa.
Yes,
Yeah.
485 graduate visa. So that visa is perfect for international students who have recently finished their courses or their degrees. So it gives them this opportunity to transition from being an international student to a professional. So that's with Keiru here. He's got huge experience already in healthcare. So being in 485 would give him the chance to become a true professional. So 485 visa would allow you to stay, it depends on the stream, but with Keiru's postgraduate, that would be like 2 or 3 years.
Unleash your potential and bring your ideas to life at DKJ Studios Shared Workspace. We are located at 590 Mitchell Street, Darwin, NT. For more info, follow us at Design Car John Facebook page.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that one of your future plans is to become a travel nurse.
Yeah.
Because it pays a lot.
Yeah, and I get to
and then
explore
of course the
that.
adventure
Yeah.
you are able to explore. So how do you go about it? I'm very curious.
Well, first of all, you have to have 2 years of experience, like a registered
Okay.
nurse, not as a grad nurse. So after I finish my first grad year of nursing,
Okay.
I have to do 2 years of registered
2
nursing.
years. So 2 years from now, we will see you as a travel nurse.
Most probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want to explore Australia and probably find a place where I would like settle for the longest time. It will be also a good experience just to know how different environmental settings are.
So how do you go about it? Like, do you find your own placement? Do you find your own hospital?
So you have to apply for an agency, and the agency will tell you which contracts are available. So if,
Like a manpower agency?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that agency will tell you this West Australia has an availability of nursing for covering short staff. It's contracted for 3 months. Are you willing to work there for 3 months? We'll pay you with this amount.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like a temporary nurse, something
Temporary
like that.
nurse, but you get to go around.
You
can also request to stay there if they're still short staffed, but when they're no longer short staffed, you'll have to leave and then find a different place.
That only proves that Australia has a high demand for nurses.
Nursing. Yep.
Right?
They still need nurses.
So what do you advise to international students, especially those who are considering nursing?
For people who wants to go to Australia, you should have a clear mind and 99.9% decision to stay here, because it's not easy to do it here, but with the right motivation, determination, and with the right goal in mind, you'll make it. And for the international students here, my goal is just to focus on your priority. It's important to know which one you're going to accomplish first. If you're an international student, you have to get out from being an international student so that you can actually start living. Because as long as you're an international student, you'll have some of us will have debts, and some of us will still be pressured with different kind of stuff. So for me, although social life is very important as well, I would recommend to put it at the very least. It's not as important as finishing the 3 years, because my principle in life, or how I look at life, it's better to get the hardships while I'm young when I'm old.
That's a very good mindset. It may not be applicable for everyone because some people are very sociable. Yeah. But with Keiru here, it worked for him that he prioritized his studies, his work, his family, and then the list would be socializing. Anyway, it's just 3 years.
Yeah, and with school anyway, and with your placement, you get to socialize. You'll meet new friends, you'll get to have dinner. Maybe some of the time, if you've got one day off, you'll get to go out partying, clubs.
Yep.
But it's not
as if you are going to isolate yourself.
Yeah,
because just like what he mentioned, you'll be able to socialize while you are also working, while you are having your job placements. Yeah. So how was it? Were they nice to you? Because were they more considerate? Because you're just a student.
No. Actually, yes. They're more considerate.
That's good.
Yeah, they're more considerate. And most of the times, if you got mistakes or something, well, not everyone, but most of them, they will tell you it's okay. It's part of learning. You will not learn if you don't have mistakes. You will not learn if you don't have. If you don't get to experience this difficult moment. So you do have, it's like a stepping stone. So you do have some obstacles.
You learn, but sometimes while
you learn by
part
mistakes.
of the learning process is committing mistakes also.
Yeah, but you don't have to commit mistakes. Intentionally.
Unintentionally, of course.
Because nursing, if you make a mistake, you'll know where you find yourself.
That's a lot. It's a huge responsibility. Of
it's
course.
a very huge one.
And as mentioned earlier, common sense is very important. And the presence of mind, right?
Yeah.
Because the pressure is different when you are in healthcare.
Yeah, you need to really have a common sense and presence of mind, as you mentioned.
We don't want people to have this impression that it's way easier to do nursing in Australia. It's just that the approach here is very different. More unpractical, just like what Keiru discussed earlier. Essays like you write.
They will ask you like case scenarios, like what's some of them would be more morally inclined, some of them would be more research based, and some of them would be the combination of two. So what would you do in this type of situation in your own way, but in a research-based way, and an evidence research-based way?
I'm not sure what the approach is in the Philippines.
You will learn it anyway when you're doing placements and your theories in class. So you'll make it as long as you have your priorities.
All right. Any final message to our viewers?
My only thing is, don't fret, don't feel alone. If you don't have families here when you get here, or if you're already here, you'll find your family. And there are different friends that you can meet along the way. You'll eventually learn how to be friendly, because people here are very friendly. Exactly. They're very, very friendly and sociable. So nothing to worry about.
That's a beautiful message. So that wraps up our episode for today. And our office can be found at 590 Mitchell Street, Darwin, NT. Or you can also send us an email at skills@enhancednt.com.au. Ring us at 0879792352. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Substack. Give us a thumbs up if you find this podcast helpful. So, Keiru, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And it's been a pleasure, and we hope to have you back soon. Share us more of stories. And that's for us today. This is the Visa section. My name is Anna. Thank you for your company.